What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of Coming Off the Bench. I apologize for being a couple minutes late. We had a couple of technical difficulties that I had to work out here on the streaming service. But, anyways, we're back. We are here on a Friday, the end of the first week of Coming Off the Bench. I just want to say, first and foremost, before we get started into the segments, thank you guys so much for all of your support. You guys have been absolutely killing it in terms of views, subscribers, everything. The comments, the engagement, everything has been absolutely fantastic. So I cannot thank you guys enough for what you have been doing here for the channel. We are closing in on that 1,000 subscriber mark very, very soon. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you have not hit the subscribe button already. I just want to say thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for all of your support recently. But today, we have got a couple of segments for you. We are going to be previewing the Browns-Ravens game on Sunday. Yes, I know. Everyone has a preconceived notion, including myself, about how this game is probably going to go on Sunday. But I'm going to try and be a little bit more positive today. I'm going to be a little bit more positive and tell you guys why I think that there is a slight chance, albeit slight, that there is a slight chance that the Cleveland Browns could actually pull off a victory on Sunday over the Ravens. We are also going to be diving into a very, very big rumor regarding a Pro Bowl quarterback who could be on his way to Cleveland. Who is it? Who's the quarterback? And is it realistic? We'll be discussing that later on in the show today. And the final segment, we'll be talking about the 2026 QB draft class. And I'll give you guys my formal thoughts about the draft in general and the QBs in general, because I haven't really made a formal video about that yet. I've only been talking about it in the Browns post-game show, so I thought I'd be giving you guys my formal thoughts about the 2026 QB draft class. But once again, thank you guys so much for all of your support recently. You guys have been absolutely killing it. Make sure you guys hit the like button here on the stream. Helps us out in the algorithm, gets more eyeballs on the channel and on this show. Make sure you guys do that. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't hit subscribe yet. And without further ado, let's get on to the first segment, which is the Cleveland Browns are going to be playing a football game on Sunday. They're going to be playing the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday, who are probably one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. They have won they've won three straight, excuse me. They've won three straight. Lamar Jackson has come back. They have won 2 games in a row with Lamar Jackson at the helm. They have been pretty much up and down the entire season. The Baltimore Ravens have. And, they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. The offense for the Ravens is starting to get on track with Lamar Jackson at the helm after struggling with guys like Cooper Rush and Snoop Huntley at the quarterback position while I almost said Tyrod Taylor, while Lamar Jackson was out nursing the hamstring injury. And the Ravens are going to come in. I think they're a 7.5-point favorite last time I heard over on FanDuel. And everybody, including myself, is expecting the Browns to lose in this game. Everybody is expecting the Browns to lose and probably lose big. And I don't blame you. I don't blame myself for thinking that way, because the Browns have not given you anything to suggest otherwise, that they're going to, come out here and win. But to me, there is a slight chance, and I'm going to be positive. I want to be positive because someone in the comment section was like, "Hey, I love your videos. You guys have been, you've been more consistent lately. I just want you to be a little bit more positive." So this video is for that guy. This video is prompted for that guy. We're going to be more positive here a little bit. The Cleveland Browns actually do have a slight chance, in my opinion, to win this game. It's a slight chance, but it's a chance nonetheless. And the reason why I think they have a chance is because the Ravens offense, still with Lamar Jackson even coming back, the offense has not been necessarily great. And Lamar Jackson and the Ravens seem to have a little bit of a hard time getting the passing game going. I think they are in the bottom 20s of the NFL in terms of ranking, in terms of passing yards. They are not a good passing offense, and they're ranked 9th in the league in terms of rushing offense. Derrick Henry is still one of the best backs in the league, if not the best back in the NFL. The Browns somehow have a very decent time in containing Derrick Henry. Now they didn't do that last year in the last game of the season when they faced the Ravens over in Baltimore and Derrick Henry ran all over us. But the Browns seemingly have a good track record when it comes to containing Derrick Henry, especially when he was in Tennessee. The Browns had a very, very decent time in containing Derrick Henry. And so to me, the Browns have an opportunity right now to try and win this game. It's going to have to be a low scoring game. And I feel like it is going to be a low scoring game. I think this is going to be your stereotypical AFC North, matchup, interdivisional matchup, where you have both teams slugging it out. They're going to be running the ball a lot. They're going to both lean on their running game, which is their strength. It's their strength. The Ravens are a very good running team. The Browns, there's one strength on offense is running the football with Quinshon Judkins. Now, to me, the Browns have a very decent opportunity here at containing Derrick Henry. And if the Browns are able to contain Derrick Henry with Myles Garrett in that defensive line, I think they get a lot of pushes, up front, especially because the Ravens are having a lot of struggles with their offensive line. They've had guys be hurt all year. Guys have not been consistently good enough in terms of protecting the quarterback. And to me, the Browns have a very good chance at disrupting the Ravens' running game, especially with guys like Myles Garrett, with guys like Mason Graham, Malik Collins, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire. Those the front line for the Cleveland Browns do a really good job at creating pressure on offenses. And to me, also, Carson Schlesinger just has a nose for the football, man. I mean, that guy's a heat-seeking missile. And to me, he's going to be the biggest X factor regarding this matchup with the Browns and the Ravens, because if Carson Schlesinger is able to contain Lamar Jackson has not been able to run the football effectively this year. He's I think he only has 200 rushing yards on the season. Now, he hasn't played for half the season, mind you, but he has not been able to run the football effectively as well as pass the football effectively. Yeah, he still has 15 touchdowns to 1 interception. So, again, if the Browns are able to make Lamar Jackson a one-dimensional quarterback, which is throwing the football, the Browns have a very decent chance of winning. Now, on the flip side of that, the Ravens' defense also has been very bad. They are not good at all. They've been struggling, especially in the secondary. They are not good at all. And the Browns have an opportunity here as well on the offensive side of the football. If you want to change the narrative on Dillon Gabriel, you want to flip everybody's expectations on their head with Dillon Gabriel at the helm for the Browns. If you open up the playbook just a little bit for Dillon Gabriel and allow him to maybe even use his legs a little bit like we saw against the Jets, okay? Dillon Gabriel actually had a pretty decent time running the football against New York Jets. Now, granted, it was the New York Jets without their star cornerback and their star defensive tackle, but he showed you some stuff when he could get outside the pocket. He can run a little bit. He can run. So if they're able to make, Dillon Gabriel move outside of the pocket, make him, just have a free reign to decide whether he wants to throw the football or maybe if he has some room to run, tell him, you know what, if it's there and you have a shot to get 5 or 6 yards and run out of bounds, go do it, my man. Go do it. Go run out. Get 5 or 6 yards because we're going to need all the yards we can get. Now, also, too, the best thing here, which is really a key part and component with the Ravens and the Browns matchup, the Ravens have had a really tough time at generating sacks. They're bottom 10 in the NFL in terms of generating sacks. They have not been able to get to the quarterback on the defensive side of the football. Their defensive line has also been having some trouble this season as well. Just their old defense in general has been having some problems as well. They also do not force turnovers at an effective rate, especially interceptions. They do not have a lot of interceptions on the season at all. But what they do have a good track record at is forcing fumbles. They are 8th or 9th in the league in terms of forcing fumbles when I last looked on the NFL app. But that is the key thing. with Dylan Gabriel and the Browns, and especially Quinshon Judkins, because I feel like this is a very, very good game for Tommy Rees and the Cleveland Browns to get a Quinshon Judkins involved in this game and just make it a very low scoring, fast paced, run the football game for the Browns. If the Browns are able to do this, if the Browns are able to run the football effectively, not turn the ball over, not get any fumbles, because the Ravens are a good team at forcing fumbles. Like we said, they do not get interceptions, they don't get sacks, but what they do is they force fumbles. If Quinshon is able to protect the football, if Dylan is able to protect the football on the offensive side of the ball, if all the receivers who are able to catch the ball, the first step is to catch the ball. The first step is to catch. The second is to gather. And the third step is to not fumble the football. If everything goes to plan on the offensive side of the football, the defense is going to have to create pressure, stop the running game in Derrick Henry and Justice Hill, and stop and contain Lamar Jackson from running out of the pocket and getting some yardage with his legs. He's also being hampered with that hamstring injury he's been dealing with the majority of this season. And he also was diagnosed with a knee injury. He didn't, I think he practiced yesterday, but he was limited in what he was able to do yesterday with a knee injury. So Lamar Jackson is going to be playing on one leg, guys. He's going to be hampered. If the Browns are going to be able to contain him in the pocket, make him throw, he hasn't been able to really throw effectively, at least for a lot of yards. But if they're able to just contain him to being a throwing quarterback, when you have guys like Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, Grant Delpit, who's been having a really good year this year, the Browns secondary and the Browns in general actually do have a decent shot at winning this football game against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Do I think that's a realistic thing that the Browns are going to come out here and actually win? No. But if there's anything about the Cleveland Browns that is funny, if there's anything about the Cleveland Browns, it's that when things are so low, and you think, man, this team cannot get any worse, things can just not get any worse, for some reason, they have this knack. They have this feel that whenever they go up against a really good team, when they're really bad, they sometimes like either lose by 3 points or they win by like 5 points, and like everything just goes their way in one game. That's what happened last year with the Ravens game last year when Jameis Winston was the quarterback, right? Nobody thought the Browns were going to win when Jameis Winston was the quarterback last year, and yet somehow, some way they did. This year, I feel like it's the same way. If the Browns are able to contain the running game of the Ravens, make Lamar a one-dimensional quarterback, which is just standing in the pocket and passing, when you have Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, Grant Delpit, you have the defensive line and the linebackers creating pressure like Carson Schlesinger, hunting and QB spying Lamar Jackson. If you are able to contain the running game on the offensive side for the Ravens, and then the Browns are just able to take care of the football, run the ball effectively, not fumble the ball, not give the Ravens, good field position, the Browns have a decent shot of winning this football game, okay? Once again, do I think it's going to happen? No. I'm still going to pick the Ravens to win this football game, okay? But if the Browns are able to do this, what I said, okay? If the Browns are able to take care of the football, create pressure, limit the running game of the Ravens, they have a decent shot of winning on Sunday, and I think for everyone's sake, it will be a good palate cleanser after what we have been witnessing for the last 5 weeks under Dylan Gabriel and under Kevin Stefanski. And maybe you can change the narrative when you go into Las Vegas and next week on Sunday. And then maybe, you know what? Maybe you can stack 2 wins. You're going to go on the road. And then guess what? You'll be what? 4-6? 4-6. You're going to be right back in this thing. And you're going to be gaining a win in a game over a divisional opponent. You're in the thick of things at that point. So then everything's going to flip on its head if this happens. But once again, it's all hypothetical. But that's how I think the Cleveland Browns can win on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. But those are just my 2 cents on the matter, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the chat. Hazahoo, I really appreciate you coming out, man. I don't wish him a gruesome injury, but the only way I see the Browns winning is if Lamar gets hurt. I mean, Lamar is already hurt, Hazahoo. That's my thing. He's dealing with the hamstring. He's been dealing with that the entire season. His knee has been bugging him as well. He's been limited in practice. So we'll see. I think he is hurt. I think the Browns do have a shot. Like I said, if they contain the running game, if they are able to just keep, care of the football, that they take care of the football, not force any turnovers or not create any turnovers, I feel like they have a decent shot at winning this game. Like I said, I don't think they're going to win, but they have a shot. There's a shot there. I do think there's a possibility that the Browns can win. And like I said, I would not be shocked if they lose. Not really would be shocked if they win either. That's what I'm just saying. Has who again? The defense might be able to contain him for a quarter or two, but just like most of the time, they will get gassed because the offense is such ass. Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I agree with that. Like I said, it all predicates on if the Browns establish the running game with Quinshon Judkins. If they run the ball effectively, Dillon is able to make his throws. They don't turn the football over. I mean, like I said, the Ravens don't generate turnovers that much. They don't sack anybody. I think they only have 12 sacks on the season. They do not sack quarterbacks, okay? They're not good defensively. So if Dillon, like I said, if they're able to establish Quinshon in the running game and keep the running game going, if they're able to, not turn the football over, Dillon makes his throws on time and on target, and the receivers are able to catch the football and not fumble the ball, because the Ravens are a good team at fumbling the football or getting fumbles. The Browns have a shot offensively, but they need to play a clean game, and we haven't seen them play a clean game in a very long time. That's my other problem. Okay, now, you guys ready to move on to the other segment here? We're going to be talking about a certain someone who could be on his way to Cleveland. So let's get ready here for the second segment of the day. We got a quarterback rumor for y'all today who could be on his way to the Cleveland Browns. All right. Just had to get some water here. Has a who again? I mean, hurt enough not to play, but I get it. Yeah, I know. I get you. I'm just saying he is hurt already. So there's a decent shot that maybe he aggravates it again in this game, and we get to see Tyrod. I keep thinking Tyrod Taylor, Tyler Huntley. But anyway, let's get on to the second segment. So there has been a rumor going around by a certain someone over on ESPN, not Dan Orlovsky, but there is a certain someone on ESPN who's been talking about a Pro Bowl quarterback by the name of Kyler Murray. And as we all know, Kyler Murray has had some struggles over in Arizona, especially recently. They have not been pretty good at all. They actually have been benching Kyler Murray in favor of Jacoby Brissett this season, who has actually been playing a lot better than Kyler Murray has this season. And Kyler Murray has been hurt as well. But there's been a lot of questions coming out about Kyler Murray and his future going with the Arizona Cardinals. They signed him to that massive extension just a couple of years ago. And a lot of people are thinking that the Arizona Cardinals may be ready to move on from Kyler Murray. And he made a startling admission when he says the Browns could be in the running to land Kyler Murray. I don't know what this is on my screen. But they could be in on Kyler Murray. And he said basically 4 different teams are in on Kyler Murray. He says, ESPN NFL reporter Jeremy Fowler had some interesting comments on one starting quarterback in the league who might soon be looking for a new home. Arizona Cardinals single caller Kyler Murray. After seemingly losing his job to Jacoby Brissett, Fowler thinks Murray could be looking for a new team in 2026. By the way, this is from the SI.com. Make sure you guys go look at the article here on SI.com with the Cleveland Browns. And this is what Jeremy Fowler says. I'm leaning toward Murray not sticking around in Arizona in 2026. Multiple teams will likely have quarterback openings, including the Browns and Jets. And he basically goes off and gives four different teams that he thinks could be in the Kyler Murray sweepstakes. He gives the Browns, the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and the Los Angeles Rams. Those are the four teams that he is looking at for Kyler Murray. Now, he also says, you look at the stats for Kyler Murray, 38, 48, and 1 as a starter in the regular season. He went to the postseason once with that 2021 Cardinals team when they went like 11-0 to start out the season, or 7-0 to start out the season. And, they had A.J. Green, DeAndre Hopkins, all those guys. I'm actually kind of shocked about that. He's only been to the postseason one time. But to be honest, Kyler has not had a bad career by any means. He's not had a bad career, but there is a problem with him where, for some reason, I don't understand why. Everyone keeps saying it's like the Call of Duty effect, where he just, later on in the season, he just absolutely loses his touch. But again, the problem here, they list it out here. Murray instantly gives the franchise a 28-year-old quarterback who is gifted at being able to throw and run simultaneously. His 5'10" stature has been a concern from him, and he has struggled with staying consistent. However, he is a playmaker when given the proper tools. There is a chance in Cleveland that Murray could succeed, as he has a great running game thanks to rookie Quinshon Judkins. The problem will be a lack of wide receivers to throw it to, despite having Jerry Jeudy and rookie Harold Fannin as the top targets. Now, this is what I'm saying. With Kyler Murray, if you put him on a team like this, like the Browns, if you put Kyler Murray on the Browns, do the Browns get better? Yes, they do. Is Kyler Murray a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel? Absolutely. Is Kyler Murray a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders? Probably. We don't know because we still haven't seen Shedeur Sanders. But do I think Kyler Murray would succeed as the starting quarterback with the Cleveland Browns? No, I don't. I think Kyler Murray is a good quarterback in the NFL. I think he is a solid quarterback. My issue with Kyler Murray is, like I showed you guys in the article, he does not stay consistent. He is not consistent at all. He has better weapons in Arizona, and he has still struggled with throwing the football to Kyler. He's been struggling throwing the football to better weapons in Arizona. Trey McBride is a pretty decent tight end. He only had, I think, 4 passing touchdowns to Trey McBride in his 3-year career with Arizona. And Jacoby Brissett threw more touchdowns to Trey McBride in like 4 games than Kyler Murray did his entire time throwing to Trey McBride. Like, that's a shocking stat. That's a pretty damning stat, in my opinion. Also, you have an issue with money as well. He's going to be making a lot of money. I think he signed for like $212 million or some outrageous stat. Over $200 million. If you're going to add that onto Deshaun Watson's cap hit, which is supposed to be $80 million for Deshaun Watson next year, you're going to have Myles Garrett's extension, on top of Deshaun Watson's cap hit. And then you're going to supposedly add what Kyler Murray's making on top of those two? No, absolutely not. You also have some organizational issues because we've known for a long time. There's been a lot of reports coming out of Arizona about how Kyler Murray has had some issues, or the Cardinals have had issues with Kyler Murray's attitude and his effort. A lot of people have said he doesn't really work that hard. That was one of the knocks on him coming A couple of years ago, there was a lot of reports saying that Kyler Murray really didn't work hard, and that a lot of the coaching staff and the organization were pretty upset with him because they wanted to give. They think he has talent. Everybody knows he has talent. He can throw the football. He can run the football. It's just not there consistently. He doesn't throw the football consistently, and the success just doesn't come. So, do I think the Browns' floor is raised with a guy like Kyler Murray? Absolutely. I think if you probably threw Kyler Murray on this football team, what's the Browns' record? I'd probably say they have one or two more wins right now. I think they're either 3-6 or 4-5. I really do, or 3-5 or 4-4. No, how many games have we played? We're 2-7, right? Okay, yeah. Never mind. We have one or two more wins than our current win total. We have 3 or 4 wins with Kyler Murray as our quarterback right now. If he was on this team right now, okay? And so the other issue with Kyler is that he's 5'11". He's a short quarterback. We're already dealing with a short quarterback. And he's better than Dylan Gabriel. He has a way better arm than Dylan Gabriel. He's better maneuverability than Dylan Gabriel right now. But I just don't see how Kyler Murray on the Browns really does anything to help the Cleveland Browns in the long term. I really don't see how I keep saying Dylan Gabriel. I keep messing up names today. I don't see how Kyler Murray helps the Browns in the long term. That's the biggest point. And that's why I don't really see how the Browns make sense as a destination for a guy like Kyler Murray. I could see him maybe going to like a place like the Jets. I could see the Jets making, an offer to Kyler Murray while they have draft picks that can build around a guy like Kyler Murray, or maybe they just take a guy in the draft. They have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. They can decide whatever the hell they want to do. They could either trade for a quarterback as well, a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. But to me, the Browns just don't seem like a very realistic partner for a guy like Kyler Murray. I don't see a Kyler Murray working here. And I just don't see it. I don't see it. And to me, I feel like this is one of those stories where we all can just kind of see this for like 10, like I said, this is only a 10-minute video. This is going to be a 10-minute video. This is a story where you're just like, yeah, is Kyler Murray good? Yeah. Should he be quarterback of the Browns? Nah. No, I'm okay. It just doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense with the current timeline that the Browns have. It doesn't make any sense with the money. It doesn't make any sense, like I said, long term with what the Browns are going to do. And I would rather the Browns decide to draft the quarterback next year, which we're going to be talking about here in the next segment. I'd rather have the Browns take another quarterback in the draft. And I think Kyler Murray could probably find his way on another team. I would say maybe Las Vegas. And I think they're the favorites to land Kyler Murray. So I think he'd be having fun in Vegas. He'd be staying in the South, in the Southwest or on the West Coast. I think that's a perfect fit for Kyler Murray. But for the Cleveland Browns, no thank you. I think we're going to be good finding our own quarterback here in the 2026 draft. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the Kyler Murray talk. Once again, just want to say thank you guys so much for coming out here on your Friday afternoon. We've been getting a lot of viewers here in the chat. I really appreciate your guys' support. If you're watching here live here on your Friday afternoon, or whenever you're watching, coming off the bench, if you're watching this on demand on YouTube, thank you so much for coming out here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. It helps us out in the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're fastly approaching that. Thank you guys so much for your support. And then we're going to be on to our final segment of the day. Has a Who again. with the Kyler Murray comment. The thought of Kyler in a Browns uni doesn't sit very well with me. I think he's too inconsistent and has an attitude issue, right? I say get him if the price is low. Well, that's the thing. He's gonna have his contract, and he has a history of being up and down. He has a history of attitude issues. There's a lot of I think was it 2021, 2022, there was reports about Kyler not, not really doing all that well with the Cardinals coaching staff. A lot of the coaching staff was upset with Kyler's effort and his how hard he wanted to work, and just overall they were upset with how he was conducting himself. Now, I don't know if anything has changed over the past couple of years. I haven't kept up with Arizona Cardinals football, but everybody could see that Kyler has talent. Kyler Murray has talent. It's just he's not consistently able to do it to a point where you're willing to take a risk or a shot on the guy for the long term, right? And that's what you're going to do if you're the Browns when you're looking at a quarterback, is you're trying to invest long term in a quarterback, especially a younger quarterback, where you can put the vast majority of your cap into, and then build the team around the guy. Now that's why I think they're going to be doing this in the draft, and we're going to be doing this in the next segment. We'll be talking about the draft and the different draft prospects, and I think that's the way they're going to do it. And I mean, everybody has said that that's the way they're going to do it. I mean, Mary Kay Cabot has said they're going to be taking a quarterback. I think Jason Lloyd has said they're going to be taking a quarterback. I mean, every single Browns reporter, Zach Jackson has said they're going to be taking a quarterback in 2026. Everybody has said that the Browns are going to go into 2026 with a brand new rookie quarterback that they drafted next year. Now, when we get into the segment, I'm going to be discussing some of the issues with this and how realistic the Browns, chances are of getting a good quarterback from this draft class, because there's a lot of different moving parts with this 2026 class that a lot of people have not been talking about, especially in Cleveland Browns media, or at least, not to an extent to which I think is, to keep you guys informed. I don't think it's a good enough job from the media of discussing, the different moving parts of this class, for the 2026 draft. I just don't think they've done a good job. Okay, well, anyway, if we have no more comments here in the chat, we'll be moving on here to segment number 3 and the final segment of the day. Thank you guys once again for coming out. I really appreciate it. And we'll be moving on to segment number 3, the final segment of the day. So, we talked about Kyler Murray potentially coming to the Browns. The rumor that a Pro Bowl quarterback could be coming to the Browns, but we also discussed how maybe that's probably unrealistic. What is probably more realistic is the Browns picking a quarterback in the 2026 draft. And to me, there are a lot of misconceptions about this 2026 draft. The vast majority of people have been talking about the 2026 NFL draft as if it is one of the worst drafts for a QB prospect that they could ever remember, and that it is such a disappointing draft class. It is such a disappointing class, and that there's no talent to be found in this draft class, because every single person thought that this guy or this guy was going to be the one, that they were going to be the number one prospect. And I just want to say that is totally untrue. Has this draft class for, quarterbacks been disappointing? Yeah, I would say it's been disappointing, but has it been disappointing to where there's just no talent available in this draft class coming up, or a potential draft class coming up? Absolutely not. There is a lot of talent in this QB draft class that is coming out, And I feel like a lot of people, especially in Browns media, who don't really keep up with college football, they haven't really done a good job of informing people just how many guys there are in this draft class who are actually really damn good. The other thing is that they haven't really done a good job of telling people that we may have to wait another year for drafting a quarterback. And here's why. Fernando Mendoza, the top QBs. We'll name off the top QBs right now that could come out in this 2026 draft class, right? The top guys. You got guys like Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, Lenore Sellers, John Mateer, and then you got guys who are definitely coming out, or are the Garrett Nussmeyers, the Sawyer Robertsons, the Drew Allers, the Cade Klubniks. Those are really the top, or the Carson Becks. Those are really the main guys in this 2026 draft class that could be coming out here in April of 2026. And we all know that this year has been disappointing because a lot of people, including myself, admittedly, thought that guys like Cade Klubnik, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, Carson Beck, Sam Levitt, all these guys would be taking a massive step up, and they'd be the guys to cement themselves in this 2026 draft class as the premier guy and the premier prospect for the 2026 NFL draft class. And then August came around and they all fell flat on their face. Now, again, this is why most people view this class as disappointing, because a lot of people thought that, Cade Klubnik, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier were going to be the guys to be, the number one prospects. And when they fell flat on their face, everybody just tuned out and said, there's nobody good in this draft class that I like. There's nobody who's really a sure thing. But then you got guys like Fernando Mendoza, who came from California, transferred over to Indiana, who has been lighting the college football scene on fire. Then you got Dante Moore over in Oregon taking over for Dylan Gabriel, who's been absolutely outstanding over there. Then you got Ty Simpson, who is a first-year starter down in Alabama, taking over for Jalen Milroe, and he starts lighting up the college football scene down there. You got guys like Lenore Sellers, who's been up and down, admittedly. He's been up and down, but you've seen flashes of brilliance coming from Lenore Sellers down at South Carolina. Then you have guys like John Mateer over in Oklahoma, transferring from Washington State, going into Norman. In the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, the guy's absolutely balling out until he breaks his finger against Auburn in the first quarter, and he stays in the entire game and absolutely kills it against Auburn. Now, these 4 guys, or 5 guys, I should say, were really the top 5 quarterbacks the entire way of 2026. These are the top 5 guys, to me at least, of the 2026 potential draft class that are coming in. And the reason why I say potential is one thing. A lot of people have been saying that they want Ty Simpson. A lot of people have been saying they want Mendoza. A lot of people say they want Dante Moore. A lot of people say they want Lenore Sellers. The big danger with this 2026 draft class, especially the QBs, is these guys are underclassmen, and they are either first-year starters or they are redshirt sophomores, and they all have a very, 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 very high possibility of going back another year and staying in college for 2026 and coming out in 2027. The only guy that I see right now that has a good chance of coming out this season is Fernando Mendoza. He is a starter for 3 years. He started 2 years at Cal. He's in his first year at Indiana. This is his 3rd year in college football starting as a starting quarterback. He's going to have over 30 starts by the end of this football season. and he's going to have the most amount of starts out of any one of the QB prospects that I've just mentioned, in terms of who potentially are the top guys in the 2026 class, right? And to me, that's why I have him as my number one quarterback. To me, Fernando Mendoza is like a more athletic Jared Goff. I've seen comparisons to Matt Ryan. I also see that as well. Fernando Mendoza has a rocket arm. He has an ability to throw with pressure in his face. He also is way more athletic than people give him credit for. He can run if he has to. He has run on designed runs on RPOs where he is able to get speed and he's able to pick up a good chunk of yards. He's also 6'5", 225. Fernando Mendoza is a guy that I think could probably be the most pro-ready out of the current top QB prospect pool that could potentially come out here in this draft. Fernando Mendoza is that guy for me. I think he could be a really good NFL quarterback. And to me, that's why I have him at number one. And that's why I think he's probably the most likely to come out in this draft class. Now, the other guys that I'm going to talk about who are either first-year starters or they're in their second season starting, but they're not going to have the amount of starts that a lot of people are going to be comfortable with taking, with that high of a pick in the first round. A lot of people are going to be doing the Bill Parcells rule where you're going to have 30 plus starts, and Fernando Mendoza meets that requirement. But the other guy that a lot of people are talking about is Ty Simpson from Alabama. Now, I was slow. I was hesitant to buy in on the Ty Simpson hype. A lot of people, including on Brown's social media and Brown's Twitter and all that other stuff, were very high on Ty Simpson. They were very high on him. And I'll admit, it took me a minute to get around with him. I see why people are enamored. I see why people are very excited about Ty Simpson and why they want the Browns to draft a guy like Ty Simpson. My issue is that, one, he is only going to have like 13 or 14 collegiate starts. He's going to be a first-year starter. And I just do not see a logical reason why Ty Simpson should not go back to Alabama another year. I really don't see a reason why he should come out this year. I understand there's going to be a lot of pressure on Ty Simpson to come out this year in the 2026 NFL draft. I strongly advise him, go back another year, dude. You are going to be so much better going back another year, getting more experience. You're going to have 25, 26 starts by the end of your collegiate career. It's still not a lot, but it's going to be a lot more to work out the kinks in your game, to work out and get a lot better at the areas that you need improvement on and that you can strengthen your strengths. To me, Ty Simpson is a guy that could be the number one overall pick next year. He could also be the number one overall pick this year. That's how good he has been. But to me, I feel strongly that he should go back to Alabama one more year. And that's where also it leads me to the other two guys who I'm very high on, Dante Moore and Lenore Sellers. Now, Dante Moore is a second-year starter. He started at UCLA in 2023. That's where he originally was. Transferred to Oregon last year. Sat behind Dylan Gabriel. Learned the offense under Dan Lanning. And now he's taken over for Dylan Gabriel and for Oregon, and he has been absolutely outstanding. He has shown flashes of greatness. He has shown great throws. His ability to be stoic and not let anything faze him at all has been outstanding as well. He's been able to make big-time throws. He's been able to make, throws with just pinpoint accuracy. The guy is accurate as all hell. Dante Moore is a very, very, very good quarterback. But there has also been rumors and reports that he has also decided that he's going to go back to school another year. So Dante Moore most likely is going to go back to Oregon, which means one of the top QB prospects is probably out of here. He's probably going to be in 2027. The same thing goes with Lenore Sellers. Lenore Sellers is the big dual threat quarterback who I am very high on. I am probably higher on him than a lot of other people are. Do I think he needs? Do I think he is a ready product? No. I have said this multiple times on the Browns postgame show. I think Lenore Sellers is going to have to be given the Josh Allen treatment in the NFL, where you're either going to have to sit him for a year or 2 years and let him work out and on behind the scenes and get better, or you're going to have to, just give him the Josh Allen treatment and let him go out there his first 2 years, let him stink it up and let him learn on his own. And then year 3 or year 4, that's when everything's going to click and he's just let him run loose. Lenore Sellers is a 6'3", 245-pound quarterback who can run the football. He can run you over. He has the maneuverability of a Vic and Lamar Jackson. He also has the arm talent of a Josh Allen. The dude is just freaking amazing. He is a athletic specimen. But by all accounts and all reports, he's also going to go back to school. And he's probably also going to transfer away from South Carolina. So that leaves you down to John Mateer, Ty Simpson potentially, and Fernando Mendoza. So those are 3 quarterbacks that could potentially come out. And then John Mateer is pretty good. He's very entertaining. He can run the football. He has a good arm. He throws with a lot of velocity on the football. The issue with him is that his play style causes him to get hurt. He had that broken finger, that broken thumb. He's been working his way back. He hasn't been that great since he broke the thumb, since he got the surgery. And that has hurt his draft stock. He was potentially viewed as a first-round pick. Now, he's probably viewed as a second or third-round pick right now. He has a little bit more time to work his way back in the first round. But that's another guy who's a junior who I think could benefit going back and probably is thinking about going back another year to play a full, healthy season in Oklahoma. So again, 2026 is going to be a time where there is a real possibility that you are only going to have one quarterback prospect who is a real NFL caliber prospect come out in this draft and be draftable in the first round. That's Fernando Mendoza. Ty Simpson, probably, I'm 50-50 on Ty Simpson because I feel like he could come out. I also feel like he could go back to Alabama. Dante Moore, there has been a lot of smoke about him going back to Oregon. Lenore Sellers, a lot of smoke about him going back to college for another year. Which leads me to this. If the Browns are unable to get the number 1 overall pick, and if Fernando Mendoza is the only guy that is available who comes out of this current top quarterback prospect pool, the Browns need to wait until 2027. And I know people are not going to like that. I'm not going to like that because you're going to have to be bad for another year. But 2027, if everything goes the way that I think it could go, and it's probably going to go, with Ty Simpson going back to school, Dante Moore going back to school, Lenore Sellers going back to school, the top quarterback prospects outside of Fernando Mendoza going back to school and deciding to come out in 2027, you're going to have a 2027 draft class that's going to have Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning, Darian Mensah, and Julian Sayin. That is a damn good quarterback pool that you can choose any one of those guys from. Now, granted, they all have to play well next year going into the college football season. They all have to play damn well. But there are a lot of guys who are potential first-round picks and potential top guys who everyone was talking about coming into this season who are probably going to be available for you next year. Now, again, that's on the Browns, and this all comes down to January 15th. January 15th is the deadline for college prospects to declare whether they're going to come out in the draft or whether they're going to go back whether they're going to go back to school for another year. So January 15th, by January 15th, we'll know. I think they give a week extension to the 22nd of January for guys who've been in the bowl games. So from the 15th to the 22nd of January, we'll know for sure whether guys like Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, Lenore Sellers, Dante Moore, John Mateer, whether those guys decide they're going to go back another year in college and they're going to hone their craft and get better, or if they're going to come out in this draft. But that's the situation going on with the QB class here in 2026. That's what I feel like a lot of people haven't been diving deep enough into for Browns fans to really understand what is going on with this 2026 class. That's just my 2 cents on the matter, okay? But those are the guys who are the top quarterback prospects here in 2026. Those are all of the different scenarios that could happen with the Cleveland Browns. Like I said, I just don't want you guys to get shocked or anything when January comes around and there's only one of these guys left out of the potential 5 that everyone has been talking about the entire fall season of college football and the NFL season. And if the Browns are going to have to be bad another year, you know why. It's because a lot of these guys simply just don't have enough experience, and they have the ability to go back another year because they're just sophomores or they're redshirt juniors. So that's the situation happening with the Cleveland Browns and the 2026 NFL draft class. And like I said, January 15th, January 22nd, we'll know for sure what the Browns' plans are and what they should do and the strategies that they should do to improve this football team. But we got another 2 months to go until we find out all the answers for the 2026 NFL draft. Oh boy. So those are all the segments for the Friday show, everybody. If you guys have any more comments you want to put down in the chat, put them down in the chat. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate you guys coming out here on your Friday afternoon or whenever you're watching this, if you're watching this on demand on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for all of your support you guys have been giving this channel recently. You guys have been absolutely killing it. And the views, the subscribers, the likes, everything. You guys have been absolutely killing it. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter or X at Warmed Bench. Follow me on TikTok. I have a TikTok on Benchwarmer Sports _. You can follow me on TikTok if you have a TikTok. But if we don't have any more questions in the chat, you don't have any more comments in the chat, seeing as there is none, we're going to be getting out of here, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. And we'll be seeing you guys after the Browns-Ravens game here on your Sunday night. They're on at 4:25. Remember, guys, 4:25 Sunday, Browns-Ravens will be on right after the game. Make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. And I'll see you guys all for the Browns post-game show